just after 6 o'clock in the morning. Lovely sunrise. We're approaching Nigel. Andries and I are off to Marievale. There's been a lot of talk about how dry it's become, and some people have said Marievale's not what it used to be. I have had some good birding experiences there in the last year or so. So I thought we'd go back and take a proper look at Marievale and literally ask the question, is Marievale still relevant in 2025? So Marievale, here we come, and let's see what the birding's like.
Lekker.
Very misty Marievale this morning. Little chilly, about 11 degrees, but not like it can get in winter. Slow start to the day. A lot of water around with the rain we've had this week. Hopefully we'll get some good birds. Just started with a couple of common things, common waxbill, blacksmith lapwing, Lavalin cisticola. But hopefully we'll start getting some bird video and we'll give you a sense of what Marievale's like to bird. And of course the ubiquitous cows in the background. This week of rain has made this farmland into a wetland. Marievale's been renowned for being so dry, but in all my years I've never seen this farmland this wet. So I think we're going to have a good day with water birds. Just listen to that sound. Stopped for a stunning black-winged kite. Of course, for those of you that are very passionate about the black-winged versus black-shouldered kite debate, you can have a look on the YouTube channel. I actually did a video about why they actually should have always been called black-winged kite all along, but that's another debate. Stopped to get some video, and Andries is behind me busy taking some video of the black-winged kite himself. We're here at the Hodididi hide, and this is the hide that's seen the most dramatic transformation with the change in the water flows and water levels in Marievale. So let's go and take a look. What you will actually see is there's no water here. And this was one of the best photographic hides for water birds in Gauteng. Obviously with the change in the flow of water, the reality is this is not the hide it used to be. So if you're coming to Marievale, Hodididi hide is really not the place anymore. There are still hides with water, so we'll check some of those out later. But this is one of the more negative and dramatic changes to Marievale. That is absolutely amazing. There's a white-throated swallow nest in the hide here, watching the parents come in and out, feeding the chicks. Yes, Hodididi hide doesn't have the open water. It's wet, but it doesn't have the water birds as a photographic spectacle. It normally does.
But these swallows have been an absolute treat and a privilege to watch these parents so attentively feeding the youngsters.
We finished at Hodididi, and yes, it is unfortunately getting a little bit hot now. But we're going to go on and have a look. You know, Marievale has changed, and some areas have actually changed for the better, which we'll explain in a minute. But for now, we're going to go on and have a look at some of the other areas of Marievale and why it's still a phenomenal place to bird. We're around the T-junction at the road towards the picnic site. Interestingly enough, this last year or so, Marievale has been incredibly dry. But with the rain we've had this year, it is amazing to see just how full it is. It's pretty much like Marievale of old. But what I will say, let's talk about when it's dry for a second here. So, when Marievale is really dry, the traditional hides, there's no water, and people tend to be a little bit disgruntled. But this area we're at now becomes mud flats, and the most phenomenal volume of waders. I would then probably say it's the wader magnet of Gauteng. Not wider Gauteng, Mkombo Dam's amazing, but it really is Gauteng's wader magnet when the water levels are low. So when you hear all this talk about Marievale, the water levels are low and it's not what it used to be, yes, that's true, but just bear in mind that there are other positives to the water levels being low, such as the number of waders. Behind me we have one of the migrant warblers still present, sedge warbler busy calling. Like all warblers, secretive and doesn't always want to come out. But this particular call, you can tell the sedge warbler by the scratchy components and the unstructured feel combined with a lot of mimicry involved. Nice to hear quite a few of the migrant warblers still around. We've got common reed warbler this morning, little rush warbler. So yeah, warblers are still around. We're heading for the picnic site now. Andres has rather vociferously reminded me that we haven't had coffee yet, and it's already 10:30. I saw him eyeing out a lead pipe that was lying in the grass, so I figured I better make coffee before there's some tragic news report of a homicide at Marievale by some caffeine junkie who hasn't had his fix yet. So anyway, off to the picnic site. I will say it's refreshing to see with how barren this picnic site pan was last year that it's actually full. That's really heartening, and obviously it makes this picnic site and the hide here, flamingo hide, a better birding experience. So right now we're going to settle down for some coffee and see what we can get at this hide. Give me those muffins.
Thanks.
Cool. So your first foray into video, what would you say was your highlight this morning?
Oh, it was definitely those swallows.
Oh, yeah.
And doing, when I saw what you did with the slow motion, and when I tried it, it was just awesome.
Yes, no, exactly.
And that's the nice thing about video is, I mean, it was difficult conditions to take stills.
Yeah.
You know, but then it's actually great conditions to take video because of the low light, and then you can, you know, shoot quite wide with your aperture.
And much slower shutter speed for video.
No, definitely. So now I'm excited to get going with it further, and lots to learn. But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. get some coffee. What did you enjoy?
Probably the African marsh harrier, even though we didn't get video. I mean, that was awesome.
That was nice to see.
But there's still the rest of the morning, so maybe we're lucky.
Yeah, let's see.
We're leaving the picnic site. Andres has had his coffee and cheered up quite a bit.
Yeah, now I feel much better.
Cool. So, yeah, we're now going to venture into the last section of Marievale that some regulars call the old section. That's towards Otter Bridge and the floodplain. And then we'll conclude by giving you a summary of where and how Marievale fits into the wider Gauteng birding scene. But for now, let's do more birding. Sadly, the road is closed for the very reason being a floodplain that, well, it's flooded. I will say they do run the reserve quite well, and at least they do close it when the conditions make it treacherous and possible that visitors will get stuck. So we're going to have to do a U-turn. Right here at the boom, you've got Gauteng, which when you're at Marievale is one of the best places in Gauteng that I know of to get great crested grebe. So have a bash at great crested grebe at this hide while you're here. But we'll do a U-turn. We'll start heading out, and we're going to actually make a stop at one secret little spot, considering it's so wet, outside Marievale, and see if we can get something really special.
They were funny, those guys.
When you see and hear of records of pale crowned cisticola near Marievale, it's down this road, and specifically where you've got nice lush long grass that's flooded. Pale crowned cisticola like temporary wetland pans. So I would come down this road, particularly in very wet periods, and see if you're lucky enough to pick up pale crown cisticola, which would be a rarity for Gauteng. Good grief, check out all that water.
Yeah,
So,
it's a lot.
yeah, in all my years of Marievale, I mean, this area gets flooded, but I've never seen it like this. Sure, this is impressive. I definitely think we need to stop and see if there are any crakes or other water birds here.
That'll be a bonus.
Definitely time to get out and see what's potting. We finished off at this amazing little flay, basically, on this flooded stream on the Holgatfontein Road. That's opposite the entrance to Marievale. But I suppose to sum up where we're at with Marievale, the reality is water levels are down. Water has been rerouted. I don't know the reason why. I'm not going to comment or speculate. I've heard a number of theories, all different. I don't know what's valid and what's not. But the reality is that water level fluctuations have changed at Marievale. It's not as continual and reliable a level of water as it used to be. Does that mean Marievale's no longer what it used to be? I think Marievale's changed. But when that water level is low, the increase in number of waders you get compared to what it used to be when the water level was higher, on those days for those birds it's even better. So I think overall Marievale's changed, but it's certainly not something to write off, and I still think it's one of the top birding spots in wider Gauteng.